Okay, hi, it's Heartstopper Deep Dives again, and I'm here with the video about what I predicted for Heartstopper Season 2 and whether that came true, how much I got right, how much I got horrendously wrong. So, in case you don't know me, I do these Heartstopper Deep Dives on this channel. They're like hour-long videos about each episode, compiling every single bit of information like behind the scenes, fan theories, observations, interviews, everything I can find and think of about every episode of Heartstopper. And I am making them for season 2 as well. I have already started working on them. So that's what this channel is mainly about. This is just an extra little fun video. I don't know how to make this short. I'm just gonna go through this Google Doc that I was writing in throughout pretty much the whole wait time for season 2. I don't know how to make this short and concise. This Google Doc is 12 pages long. No, 13 pages long. Oh gosh. And it's got a lot of text. I haven't gone through this. I'm just gonna look through it and try to edit it down. Okay, so it's been almost a week now since season 2 came out, and I've watched it so many times. As you know, it's so funny because I thought that this wouldn't happen a second time. I thought that it's been too long. I've found other things to be interested in. I won't be going quite as deep for season 2. No, I'm fully in the deep end. I have no other thoughts than Heartstopper. Heartstopper is the only thing I think about. I loved it. Season 2 was perfection. It was so good. And I think I predicted it pretty well, because I have read the comics like 1,000 times as well. And, you know, because of this deep dive project, I've been saving everything that I see. And we got quite a lot of leaks while they were filming, especially when they were filming in Paris. Like, full disclaimer, don't do that. If you ever see people filming a movie, TV show in public, don't bother them. Let them do their job. Don't harass them, don't take pictures and videos, and especially don't post those things online, like before the thing they're filming comes out. Don't do this. Alice was very upset by this, but because of the project that I'm doing, I did save every single one of those that was floating around that I knew about, and I think I've got all of them. And I knew that I was going to use them in the deep dive project because once the season is out, we've already seen everything, and those things are already out there, like the pictures are already out there, they're not spoilers anymore. I've been saving those, so I did see everything, pretty much. And that's why I already knew a lot of stuff quite well ahead of time. Like, as they were shooting it, I knew what they were shooting, kind of. And if you must take pictures and videos, at least wait until the project is out before you post them. Alright, let's get into this messy Google Doc that has a lot of stuff in it. So here are my first predictions on the 2nd of October 2022. Imogen and Ben will have something going on. Nick will be conflicted by what he knows about Ben. No idea how that will resolve, but Imogen cannot end up with Ben without something happening. Imogen will at least know Nick does not like Ben anymore. Alright. Yeah. That did happen. And the reason why we had a feeling that there was going to be a Ben and Imogen thing was the way they were posed in this picture. James will either have a crush on Charlie to expand on the spin the bottle thing, and Nick will be jealous, while Charlie probably remains pretty oblivious. Or there will be something between James and Isaac because of Brad and Toby's interactions on social media. Could just be that they are friends IRL and playing around. Don't know how Isaac's ROA story will fit into that. Yeah, so Brad was leaving all these, Bradley Riches, who plays James, was leaving all these like jokey, flirty comments on Toby's Instagram and all that. So that did seem like a hint that James might actually have something going on with Isaac. So that's what ended up happening there. Yeah. So we didn't have this James having a crush on Charlie in the Truth or Dare thing, just, you know, alluded to how he had a crush on Charlie last year. And in case you didn't know, Alice did confirm early on that she had big Arrow Ace plans for Isaac, so we've already known that for a long time. James will interact with the Paris squad more, don't know in what way yet. He's probably a closeted gay of some sort, based on what we know of him. Not closeted, funnily enough. I thought that he would be closeted because of the whole Charlie's the only gay boy in the school thing. But no, James is just another gay dude at Truum. What do you know? Then the whole big thing. I think season 2 will end in the I love you scene because otherwise this season will be full of unfinished arcs, and the graphic novel volume 2 ending is a bit of a bummer in comparison. Now this is interesting because for so long I was in the camp that we will get the I love you scene, the shower thing, from volume 4, even though we knew this was going to be volume 3. Because I thought like we're gonna start the whole how do I tell him I love him arc, and that would tie it together. And I thought that we were gonna have unfinished arcs because we were gonna start the whole thing with Nick's dad, and we were not gonna resolve that because the whole dinner scene was in volume 4. So I didn't know that they were gonna move the dinner scene to season 2. So that was not left unfinished. So instead they did this brilliant thing where they teased the beginning of the arc of them both knowing that they love each other and then figuring out how to say it. And I thought that was brilliant. Like, it was so good. It was so much better than, like, I was concerned about the idea of ending it where volume 3 ends, which is Nick googling eating disorders and Charlie googling how to say I love you. Excuse you. Because that would have been a little bit of a bummer ending, like, the whole googling eating disorders thing. But we got Nick googling eating disorders a little bit earlier. And leaving the show on the note of Charlie typing out I love you was so sweet. And I am so on board with that decision because now we have the I love you scene to look forward to next season and it will be so good. Then Nick and Charlie meet up with Stefan in Paris. Leaked pics of them filming this came out today, but Nick will be unable to come out to him. I predict the meeting will get interrupted and Nick's dad has to dip somewhere before Nick gets to tell him. Or Nick just gets too nervous and can't do it. We will likely still get the family dinner scene season 3, I think. But could be wrong. Who knows? Also, those pictures might not even be of the dad. I didn't get that at first, but people were talking about it and it seems likely. Also, Nick and Charlie are not with the group in the leaked scenes, so that was suspicious, but makes sense if they were going to meet up with the dad. Yeah, so there were pictures of them filming the scene in the cafe with the dad. But in those pictures, we can only see the back of his head. So I thought, when I saw those, oh, we're gonna do a scene where they meet up with the dad, and that makes sense for a TV show. Like, rather than him just, like, trying to meet up with him and texting him and that. Like, I thought that scene makes sense. And as you can see, I predicted it exactly. Because that's how Nick's dad is, and that's how this story goes. I knew we were still gonna get the dinner scene, but like I said before, we got it this season, not next season. I did not predict that. And the thing about, like, what I saw people speculating about the pictures is that so many people just did not believe that was Nick's dad. Like, even later on when we got the confirmation of the casting, and that pretty much confirmed it, like that we're gonna get Nick's dad in this season. Some people still didn't believe that those pictures were them meeting the dad. They thought that the dad was gonna just be like a photo on Nick's phone that he shows Charlie or something. But no, it was him. And people were just like being like, maybe they're just not filming and they're talking to a crew member or something. But I didn't believe that. Oh, this is a fucking hilarious... Oh, sorry. This is a really hilarious one. Ben is probably not gonna do that much, despite being there. I was so wrong. Spin the bottle will probably still happen. Don't know how much Sports Day affects things RE people being aware of Nick and Charlie. Yeah. It's so funny now, in retrospect, in hindsight, how everyone was like, how are we gonna have all of these storylines when everyone already pretty much knows that Nick and Charlie are together? And it's just like, no. People just don't know that they're together. Like, it's the same as in the comics. Like, there are people who are observant who suspect it, but people just don't know about them. So the Sports Day thing didn't really affect things at all. And the spin the bottle thing was exactly the same as in the book when it comes to them coming out in that situation. Like, of course there was other stuff in it, but that scene is exactly as in the books, where they come out there. Separate beds. I used to think no because Tao knows, but someone suggested maybe Mr. Ajayi intervenes with that, so I don't know anymore. I don't know what that is. Somebody said something about Mr. Ajayi being like, I know that you're a couple, so you can't sleep in the same bed. Yeah, that was definitely not me. But yeah, I for a long time I was like, surely Tao would not do that to Charlie. Like, he knows that they're together, so he wouldn't be an asshole and just like prevent them from sleeping in the same bed. And I even was like, maybe Tao is like, not in our room, like, you're not gonna make out with us in here, like, we're gonna separate you so there's no hanky-panky. But turns out, nothing changed. Tao is just still the same, and he gives the exact same reason as he did in the book. As for why he took the other bed. Like, it's exactly the same, even though Tao knows they're together. He's just oblivious, like, and that fits his character, so of course. Like, it's so funny that we were just all overthinking, like, how is Alice going to solve this problem that has now arisen from things being different in the show than in the comics? And then it's just exactly the same, and there was no reason to overthink it. It's so funny. I don't know if they can have the drunkenness stuff because of the younger audiences thing. Even the hickey thing might be too much. I'm so glad that that was an unfounded worry. Let's just say that. Nick will probably speak way less French, i.e. speaking more in English to Dad and Dad responds in French. But there will be some stuff. I used to think they would just nix the whole thing about Nick speaking French before they started on season 2, but it seems extremely unlikely now with all the hype about that. And that's so funny because, yeah, Nick pretty much speaks the same amount of French in the show, except for the conversation with the dad as he's leaving after the dinner. Like, that was in English. It was better for the audience for it to be in English. And Kit did a pretty good job. Like, you can hear his British accent. But Alice even already said that Nick does still have a really British accent when he's speaking French. So, like, that's not a problem. No Tory on Paris trip still. Yeah. I'm concerned about how they're doing the Mr. Ajayi plot because Visayo is doing a play throughout the whole filming period. Nima was in the cast announcement photo and table read. Visayo was not. Nima went to Disneyland with the gang, but Visayo was not there. Mr. Farouk has all his scenes with Mr. Ajayi, so Visayo has to be there. But how can he be in Paris and do his play in London at the same time? I'm stressed. And when I tell you I was stressed, like, I was actively worried about this because I checked. He was doing, so Pizarro was doing the Crucible, and I went on the website and I checked, and they were doing shows of the play every night, and I was like, how is he gonna be in Paris? Like, it's one thing to like film his scenes in the day and then go to do the show in the evening or whatever, but Paris, like, so much of the Mr. Ajayi and Mr. Farouk scenes was all in Paris. So I was stressed about, like, how are they gonna film this? But somehow they got it done. And I don't know how they did it, but I was stressed, man. Like, I had no business being this stressed about it, but I was. Oh, this is an interesting one. We might see Darcy family stuff. Who knows? Oh boy, did we. I will have so much to say about the Darcy family stuff, like, it made me cry so much. You'll see all of my feelings about it in the deep dives. Which I have started working on, by the way. Sahar will have more to do, don't know what. TBH, I feel like she's not really a character in the comics at all. She does nothing before volume 5, of which we only have a little bit, so I feel like I don't know her at all. Yeah, she did have more to do. The whole prom thing, that was not in the comics, so there was no way to predict that. I want to see the I love you text floating around Charlie as a Heartstopper moment in the scene after the fainting. Now this is like the only thing where I was slightly disappointed, because I wanted that so much. Like, I'm thinking about animating like a fan-made version of that if I can. I don't know if I can do that. But I really wanted, like, when Nick is sitting with him in the cafe in the Louvre, I really wanted there to be like that moment when he says, "You're my boyfriend," and I wanted the "I love you" text behind Charlie's head so bad. And we didn't get it, but I mean, that's such a minor thing. It's just I was fixated on that. I really wanted to see it. Like, that's the only thing that was disappointing to me in season 2, and that tells you a lot about how good, how perfect it was. We will probably see many animations like the popcorn shriveling up that was not used in season 1 that Joe mentioned in Pilot Podcast. Yeah, the dark animations. I was expecting much more of that, like, relating to Charlie's eating disorder thing. And we didn't get any of it for that. Like, unless you count the fainting thing, but that was kind of just like... But yeah, the season is darker, so we did see more of these dark animations. Like, we got the exam, we got Nick's intrusive thoughts. Yeah, we did get more of that. But not in the way that I expected. Wager Project on the soundtrack, thanks to Bash at Dream It panel for the tease. People are predicting You're So Pretty for the towel kiss in the Louvre. Now, we did get You're So Pretty by Wager Project on the soundtrack. Bash did kind of tease that because he was asked at the Dream It Con like what his favorite songs or artists on the soundtrack were, and he said Wager Project, and then there was like this whole, oh, Wager Project is not on the Heartstopper soundtrack, whoops. So that's why that was predicted. And You're So Pretty is, well, I mean, it fits. And it didn't go with the towel kiss, but instead it's the last song that we hear for the whole thing, and it fit there so well. So that's fun. Oh, and if you don't know, Wager Project is Will Gao's band with his sister. So that's why it was interesting. Tao will cut his hair before the Paris trip, maybe because he's self-conscious now that he is aware of his crush and wants to look nice. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what happened, yeah. And we knew this because we did see those pictures of them filming. We did see that he didn't have the haircut that he had in season 1. But even if we didn't, you know, given what the fan reception to the hair was, it wasn't gonna be far-fetched to think that he was gonna cut it. Charlie might rejoin rugby. Yep, he did. And that's so funny also because we were definitely also overthinking this thing. Like, oh no, Charlie has quit the rugby team and he doesn't quit the rugby team in the comics. Like, how are we gonna have all of these scenes like them getting caught kissing by Miss Singh? And nah, he just rejoins. Just like that, immediately in episode 1. Like, it's really like we were overthinking so much. Like, it's so easy to just get that back on track. Rugby Lads plot better be extensive. I was thinking they would be on the Paris trip maybe, but that would complicate the room situation because they might want to share with Nick. I doubt Nick will be in a whole ass different room, and the actors were not in Disneyland. So yeah, they were not in Paris because they didn't go to Paris, and I was hoping for a little tiny bit more Rugby Lads, but I'm actually satisfied with the amount we got because I think there's room for more Rugby Lads in season 3 than we even saw in the comics. Like, I think in season 3 we could really see Nick reforging his relationship with the Rugby Lads, and that would be so nice to see him have his own friends that have nothing to do with Charlie to support him through what happens next season when he's by himself for a bit. If you know, you know. I love the Rugby Lads. Like, I'm obsessed with the Rugby Lads. I love them. So I was so happy to see them and my favorite bits of them. So I'm pleased. Clingy Nick confirmed by Alice. Recharging? Yes, we got it. We got all of the things that we wanted. Like, every single thing that the fans wanted to see, we got it. And the recharging scene, it was so good. And then the last one from this date of making predictions was, are we gonna have the beach scene? No, we didn't have it. And the reason why I was asking about that is because I was still thinking that we were gonna have the I love you shower scene that happens after the beach thing from volume 4. And it's gonna be in season 3. And that's good. Because, you know, there's probably gonna be a lot of space for new stuff in season 3. Because volume 4 is written in these journal entries for a lot of it. It's just kind of like going over a long period of time without actually like digging deep into what happened then. So there's gonna be a lot of new stuff for the next season, I'm sure. And I'm glad that we still have the beach situation to look forward to. Okay, and then we have a few predictions from the 12th of October, 2022. New leaks confirmed we will get the Hickey plotline. I am very pleased. Yeah, so that was definitely something that they couldn't hide while they were shooting in Paris. Like, you can see the Hickey on Charlie's neck in the pictures. And the reason I'm very pleased is that I just really like the Hickey plotline, and like thanks to that we got the most hilarious new scene. Slightly different from the comics, with Tao barging in on them in the bathroom, and that's hilarious, and I'm so happy that it was even better because Tao already knows that it's a Hickey. Ah, good things. Leaks of Nick and Charlie running around Paris and Underground Station make me think we might see them go meet up with Nick's dad separately from the rest of the group and missing/almost missing the train back. No, there was no missing the train back, that was just them hurrying to the meetup location. But otherwise I was correct. James is hanging out with the Paris squad a lot. Is he sharing a room with somebody? How would that work? Is he friends with Sahar and that's why? Why is he so closely connected to the squad? Who knows? Well, I mean, it's just Isaac. And no, the room situation was exactly the same. So again, overthinking. He was just hanging out because of Isaac. And now, one prediction from the 4th of December, 2022. Episode titled Electric is towards the beginning of the show. I strongly think they shot first episodes last because they cut Joe's hair a bit shorter towards the end of the shoot. Huh. What? Electric might actually refer to Towel because of this moment where Tao says, just standing next to girls I like makes me feel like I'm being electrocuted. Now, this whole thing about the Electric episode was such a red herring because we saw a picture of like, what was it? I'll insert the picture here. I don't remember exactly what it is, but I have it. Where it didn't even show the word electric, but some people deduced that it said electric, and that was the code name for the show that they used while filming. I go into that later, like I realized that later, that it's not so much that there was an episode titled Electric, but just like how they were calling Heartstopper Evergreen when they were shooting season 1, which is this technique that shows use to like keep it a little secret what they're actually filming. They use these code names. The Electric was just a code name. There's no episode called Electric. But I'm surprised by this whole thing because they cut Joe's hair a bit shorter towards the end of the shoot. I don't remember, now I remember that, now that I read it. But you can't see that in the show really at all, that his hair isn't as long in some parts. I think I was like, now I remember, I was really adamant about this because we saw some pictures where Joe appeared to have had like a slight haircut towards the end of the shoot. And I was so sure that that meant that they were filming like a few earlier scenes at the end to like make it more fluid, that his hair would grow throughout the show, because you know season 2 picks up the next day from the previous season, so if his hair had grown too much it would have been weird. But I had completely forgotten about that, and I actually tweeted a bunch about this. I was so certain about that. And now that we watch the show, you can't see any difference in his hair length really. That's so funny. I had completely forgotten that I was so adamant about that. Okay, then on the 8th of December 2022, Tao's mom will have a bigger part in the story because Momo was at the table read. Tao-L's story will still have the Louvre kiss, but it will be expanded and it will take time to develop. Yeah, that's correct. Nothing more to say about that. More Nelson family drama. I bet there's more David conflict with Nick and with Charlie, and Sarah will be there too. Nick's dad's part will be bigger too, as established by the leaks before and the casting announcement and everything. I predict less French spoken between Nick and Stefan, lol. Actually, no, there was exactly the same amount of David, pretty much. No, now that I think, like, there's no, it's just tiny little bits of David, like him trying to get the phone, and his introduction is a little longer than just him saying hi at the door. But yeah, like, Nick's dad was in a scene that wasn't in the comics, the cafe thing, but that was really short. Alice has spoken about their plans to have a storyline in Volume 5 about an LGBT club being formed by the gang. I predict that Elle's new friends appearing in season 2 will already kickstart that a tiny bit, even though it hasn't even happened yet in the comics. That will still probably be season 4 stuff mainly, but the seeds are there with this group of LGBT teens expanding. I wonder if Ash and Belle's characters appear in the comic later as well. Okay, so turns out that Naomi and Felix have a completely separate part to play with the art college thing, which is not in the comics, so that was completely unpredictable. And we also still haven't seen this LGBT club in the comic yet. So who knows? More Tori. No Michael yet, season 3 though. But surely we will have more scenes with the whole Spring family, at least the hanky-panky situation. Maybe we'll see Nick get to know the Springs better as Charlie's boyfriend and vice versa. That will be interesting. Conflict with Jane will start with her being concerned about Charlie having a boyfriend. Yes, just yes. And we will get Michael Holden next season, that's been confirmed. And for those of you who don't know, that's Tori's friend in quotation marks. And yes, we did get the hanky-panky scene. Like, I thought that was so funny in the comic, so I was really pleased that we got it in the show exactly as it was in the comic. I don't know, the hanky-panky thing is just so funny to me. There will be a montage of Nick and Charlie being adorable and coupley at the start of the season. Please, I have been imagining it. It would be so cute. And boy did we get that. Like, it was so much better than I ever thought it would be. Like, they really went for it. They were, like, fully allowed to be very cute and coupley, and I just didn't even expect that it would be that good, like, even though I was hoping for it. Like, they were so cute. They were so adorable this season. I don't know why I couldn't even have my hopes up that high. But they exceeded my expectations when it comes to the cuteness. Better yet, here's a fun parallel way to start the show the same way. Charlie walks to school happy like in episode 1, and Nick does the guess who thing and tells him he came out to his mom like in the comic. They might have to sneak off somewhere to kiss because the lockers are not laid out in the same way on the show where they could hide behind them. But still, am I a wizard? I predicted it exactly. Like, I don't even know, like, maybe somebody else, like, maybe I was influenced by other people also predicting this, because I'm not claiming that I'm the only person who predicted that. But it was just such a perfect opportunity and they took it, and it's perfect. It's exactly what we thought it was gonna be. Oh, I'm so happy with that. We get some version of the coach thing catching them scene. This is what people think they filmed when Kit posted the Insta stories about Joe assaulting him. But who knows if Charlie rejoins the team. Maybe the rugby lads coming around is a motive to get him back on the team. No, he just rejoins to spend more time with Nick. But yeah, we did get the coach thing scene and it was so good. I don't know what scene Kit was talking about when he did the joke about Joe assaulting him. I still don't know. And I don't know where I'm gonna put that thing in the deep dives because I don't know what scene that was. Because Kit's wearing these sweatpants in it, and I think those were just to keep warm in between filming. Because they were filming summer in the winter, so every time they weren't filming they were wearing these big coats, and there's this picture also of Joe wearing sweatpants on top of his jean shorts. So that doesn't even tell us anything. And it looks like that was like in the gymnasium. But I don't know what they were filming. I don't know what that's referring to. Nobody knows. One prediction on the 14th of December 2022. Because I have a theory that Tao's abandonment issues come from his father, who we never see or hear of. What if Tao and Nick bond over absent fathers? Yeah, I called it, and they did actually kind of indirectly bond over that. Like, you could see some gears turning in Tao's head when Nick mentioned that he doesn't see his dad much. And then in the end, Tao tells Nick about his father passing. So there is this understanding between them now that they both have kind of something there. Of course, I didn't predict in this that Tao's dad was for sure dead, but I did predict that Tao's dad was the cause of his abandonment issues, and I was very correct. Then on the 25th of December, on Christmas Day, Toby posted this photo, and now Electric is confirmed. I now believe, and others pointed out, that this is probably the code name for all of Season 2, since it's on Toby's name for the table read. It's probably not an episode title. Yeah, and that's correct. And as we can see also, on the 20th of January 23, I made this note here. Electric is 100% the title they used for filming season 2. There will be no episode named Electric, and it's confirmed by this picture. February 22nd, 2023. Saw someone mention Thibault said somewhere he was specifically excited about being in a scene with Olivia Colman. Apparently interview was in French, I couldn't find it. So now it seems like there will be a Nelson family scene. People were seeing this as proof we have the family dinner situation in season 2, but I think it's still too early to have that scene. So it does seem that we will have some scene with the whole family, but I don't know if it will be a flashback or something. I would be very surprised if we already had the Nelson spring family dinner. And I was proven wrong, that's all I'll say about that. And it was fitting and it was cool and it was good. I enjoyed it being in this season. I thought it wrapped things up really nicely. March 2nd. Zoe Molyneux, I don't know how to pronounce her name, cast as Kira. No idea what that could be. Maybe has to do with whatever situation brings Elle's new friends in. Some people speculated she might be Becky, but obviously that isn't the case now that we found out her character's name. So yeah, we didn't know anything about the art college, so of course we didn't know what her role was because she was just a teacher at the art college. But I was correct that she was involved in the situation that brings Elle's new friends into the story. So this thing was like, some people were speculating that she would be Becky, who is Tori's best friend from Solitaire. And there was some confusion because like it was really hard to speculate like whether she was playing like an adult or teenager, because she kind of looks somewhere in between age-wise. Kind of you could cast her a little bit in either direction, and we saw like one picture of her pretty much. So we had no idea what her role was going to be, and that was further proven by this prediction on the 12th of March, where I saw this tweet by LB2005 saying, "Guys, what if she's Miss Singh's wife?" And I said to that, very interesting. Of course, that wasn't the case, but that was an interesting theory for sure. And we did get Miss Singh's wife in that picture, and that's how much we see of her in the comics as well, so. Okay, so we got a lot of new info on the 24th of March. So I made a lot of predictions based on that. Release date August 3rd, lots of little stuff to unpack in the announcement video. Also, Netflix tweeted this. In Heartstopper Season 2, Nick and Charlie navigate their new relationship. Tara and Darcy face unforeseen challenges. Tao and Elle work out if they can ever be more than just friends. Plus, there's exams, a school trip to Paris, and prom. To this they said, "So we will have prom?" That was completely unexpected. So that was a completely new thing that we knew nothing about. And then to my predictions. Okay, so clearly Nick is much closer with Imogen in Season 2. Rhea says she's not so focused on boys, so either no Ben plot for her, or she finds out Ben is shit and then stops focusing on boys. Yeah, Rhea said briefly that Imogen is more focused on herself and not boys anymore. So yeah, my latter prediction was correct, as we know. Tara and Darcy face unforeseen challenges, maybe to do with Darcy's home life. We all are curious to see more about that. And boy did we see more about that, and that completely changed the game for me, like how much we saw of that. Like, this was such a good Tara and Darcy season. That was completely unexpected how impactful that was, especially for me. Like, I was so touched by her storyline, and it really hit me deep. So this season was really great for adding that in, because we only knew from Tara telling Nick that Darcy has some trouble at home, but we didn't see it in the comics, and now that we've seen it, it's so impactful. Exams seem to include Ben drama, with this pic that was accidentally released early by Netflix Brazil on Instagram on the 21st of April. It seems weird they'd be sitting beside each other for GCSEs, but the sign on the wall suggests exams, but it may also be detention. Also, this shows them with clear pencil cases, so yeah, they definitely take GCSEs together. Okay, so we didn't know that this was study hall for the GCSEs. And funny thing is, this is still not anywhere legitimately. Like, this photo was released in some meme that Netflix Brazil posted. It was like the third picture in like this collection of memes, and it was just like this picture where this was the top of the picture and the bottom of the picture was something else, I don't remember. But it was like a joke thing. And this was a completely unreleased still. It was the first still we saw of season 2. And it's still not been officially released anywhere. I at least don't think. So that was hilarious. Netflix Brazil is just the king of leaks when it comes to content that we were not supposed to see, because this is not the only time they've done this. But that was hilarious. Nick and Charlie are out at school at some point this season. Seems even before Paris, maybe. I think that's because we saw the hug that they have at the end of GCSEs. But no, that's not the case. They're just really bad at hiding it. According to Tudum article, Season 2 is based on Volume 3, so people are taking this to mean no I love you scene yet. I was so set on that being the finale. Yeah, they were right. We didn't get the I love you scene. But we did get something alluding to it, which was great. I think prom episode will have drama about both Nick and Charlie and Tao and Elle being ready to go to prom publicly as a couple. Turns out, not at all. April 25th. What if Imogen is planning to go to prom with Ben but finds out he's shit just before? That would be drama. That was just me coming up with possible plot lines, like, I don't know. 18th of June. Okay, we have just seen the first minutes of episode 1 and gotten the episode titles. I didn't make title predictions even though Alice prompted us to guess, but I will now make my predictions on the episodes based on the titles. Episode 1 out. Obviously very much like the comic. Nick surprises Charlie, no kiss because they are in form. Congrats for coming out kiss must be later in the rugby storage thing because of this. Also, Charlie comes out about Nick to his parents. That was not quite right. Like, yeah, it's almost there, but, you know, we know that's not quite right. Episode 2, family. Nick's family will be introduced. David, definitely. Yeah. Episode 3, promise. Question mark, question mark? Maybe Tao Elle stuff because of the promise they made to each other to prioritize their friendship. Yeah, that was part of it. There were other promises in there too that I couldn't have predicted. Episode 4, challenge. Some Paris drama? Don't know. Yeah, there was no way to predict that the challenge was how long Nick could go without kissing Charlie, because that was not in the comic, so that's what the challenge was. Episode 5, heat. This will definitely be the one where Charlie faints. Yeah, it was. Episode 6, truth dare. Spin the bottle, James. Yeah, well, yes, but the James thing was a little different. Episode 7, sorry. Drama episode just like episode 7 last time. Probably some new stuff, or Charlie and Todd drama, or Harry's apology. Turns out we got a Ben apology, which was that was a very powerful scene, and I'm sure I'll talk about this a lot in the deep dives, but people were so adamant in the fandom that they wanted absolutely no Ben in this season, but I am so glad that we got that scene of Ben asking for forgiveness and Charlie really laying it out for him what he did and how. Yeah, I will talk about that in the deep dives a lot, because I just thought that was a really powerful scene. And some of that was supposed to be in the monologue to Harry when Harry says sorry at Tara's party, but they clearly saved that for this more dramatic moment later. Episode 8, perfect. Prom. Yeah, it was the prom episode. And then on the 25th of June, the reviews all poured in. And we found out way too much stuff from the reviews. Like, I was gonna read all of them, but I didn't, because at some point it just stopped being fun to read like spoiler after spoiler, because one review would talk about one scene and another would talk about another, and then eventually like this whole thing was just not even me listing predictions anymore. It was just me listing a whole bunch of things that will happen in the season, And this is not that fun to go through. This is why I didn't do the video about predictions before the season came out like I thought at one point that I would. And I think I'll skip this portion because it's just a list of stuff that happens in the season. But yeah, I think I did a pretty okay job predicting what was going to happen. I'm very careful about predicting stuff because I actually hate being wrong and misunderstanding stuff. Like, it bothers me so much if I've said something that's completely wrong. But I mean, this is just for funsies, so like, I can laugh about just being completely wrong about some things, but I think I did pretty good with the predictions. Of course, I only did predictions based on stuff that we already knew and stuff that we had seen. So I can't really pat myself on the back too much. So yeah, I don't know if this was very entertaining as a video, and this is probably way too long. I am dreading editing this down, but I hope some of you were interested and enjoyed it. Just to reiterate, in case you didn't see what I said before, I'm editing the deep dives for season 2, but it will take a long time for those to come out because I will be waiting for all of the good footage, all of the interviews to come out, which is an impossible task because they're still releasing really good stuff about season 1 that I could have used for season 1 deep dives. But hey, I want to make them good, so it's gonna take forever. We will all be old and grey by the time I'm done, but I am working on them right now. So there's that. I'm probably gonna just go back and watch season 2 again because I love it so much. Bye!